Today we're gonna rank my top 8 all-time favorite completed series that are only 2 books that have immaculate spice but also 5-star plot. Welcome back to my channel where I give you all of the best book recs. I am obsessed with romantasy, with fantasy, with spicy books, with immaculate plot. You'll find all of that on my channel, plus like extra sarcastic Gilmore Girls level yaps and sarcasm. So listen, if you're a book girly who is also a Gilmore Girl girly, you are in the right place. It is time to hit the subscribe button if that applies to you. I am getting back into my thriller era eventually. It is Summerween, so it's time to get back into that. I did read a Freida McFadden book recently, and I'm gonna be real with you, I did not like it. So one day I will like a Freida McFadden book, okay? But don't forget to subscribe if you like book recs, if you like book lists, if you like all of the recommendations, spicy romantasy, high fantasy, dystopian, all of those. I have one of the most exciting videos for you today because not only does everybody always ask for completed series, a completed series that is only 2 books is the next level of like what's in demand right now, because standalones are great, but sometimes I feel like they're a little too short. You don't get quite enough. A trilogy is great. Sometimes it's too long and sometimes the middle book is boring in order to make like the 3rd book be absolutely amazing and pop off. A duet, a duology, sometimes that is the actual perfect length. We get short, but we get complete. We have time for depth. We have time for romance. We have time for the plot to develop, and we don't feel like it takes us our entire lives to read it. So we're gonna go over my top 8 favorite duets, and we are gonna rank them in order from like 8 to my actual like favorite of all time, world-altering duet. Think about MTV. It's kind of like the top 8 at 8, or was that VH1? It's the top 8 at 8, except it's spicy romantasy books. So let's go. So coming in at spot number 8, we have the Villains of Lore duet. We have the Bonds of Hercules. This is a Hercules retelling. This is a Why Choose, and this is honestly dark, comedic, emotionally damaging, has funny animal side characters, and when I tell you, like, it is just literally the best of all worlds. We've got comedic writing, but we've also got emotional damage. Jasmine Moss is like one of my favorite writers who is like so unserious, but then will also emotionally devastate you in the next chapter, and her plot twist pop off like no other. So in this one, we've got Greek mythology, we've got a Greek academy. So it's sort of like a Greek version of like a military college. So if you like something like Fourth Wing, but you want it extra spicy and like a little bit more unhinged when it comes to the romance, and you wanted like 2 Xaydens, but like they're completely different and have better personalities, this is gonna be the duet for you. Now, a lot of people argue with me, this is not a duet. This is the end of our main character, Alexis's POV. So after these 2 books, Villains of Lore will continue with the POV and a new plotline following someone else. So this is a completed duet. You can read these 2 and not read any more of the series, or you can read these 2 and then you can read about someone else in the following books in the series. Sort of like the Crowns of Nyaxia, which is a series of duets. These are extra spicy for our girlies that like more than 1 book boyfriend, and I personally have been loving the Greek mythology vibes, and putting a Greek mythology vibe in a magical sort of military academy is absolutely perfect for me. So we're putting this here at spot number 8. This needs to be on your TBR, and I feel like this one's really slept on. I feel like not a lot of people talk about this, but it is one of the books that I would highly recommend out of most of the romantasy that I've read recently, and I don't know why more people are not talking about it. In spot number 7, if you want immaculate plot, a slow burn that will have you on the edge of your seat, and emotional damage that really delivers, The Jasad Heir is another completely slept on completed duology. This one is Egyptian inspired. One of my favorite things about it is the landscape, the magic system, the people don't look the same as like all of the people, landscapes, magic systems in your typical romantasy. This one is lush and beautiful and very colorful, but also it is dark and gritty. It's got plot that develops at honestly my preferred perfect pacing. You're gonna have a story unfold, an enemies to lovers romance, immense angst and like tension and yearning. This is one of the books that I feel like nobody talks about, but it does like dark romantasy better than a lot of other dark romantases that I've read recently. I feel like nothing has made me feel the way that this feels. So if you're tired of reading about pale fairy men, let's have an MMC who looks completely different. I am absolutely obsessed. I love the FMC as well. The magic system is super fresh and different and is not really going to remind you of anything. And this this one's darker. This one's got a little bit more of a serious, darker vibe. I feel like it feels deeper. It feels more high stakes. We've got trials. And of course, we have two very reluctant allies in here. I wouldn't even really call them allies. I love the romance. I love the relationship in here. And this one, truly, more people need to be talking about it. So we're putting this at spot number 7. This is an absolutely immaculate read, completely slept on, in a different setting. It's gonna feel completely different than anything else you've read probably this year. And I'm gonna need more from Sara Hashem. Like, did she write anything else? And have I just been under a rock? Because I feel like I need something else from her immediately. Spot number 6. Now listen, you cannot tell me that you've heard of anything that sounds like what I'm about to describe to you, which is a perfect mixture between The Handmaid's Tale and Mulan. Listen, if you were a Disney girly growing up, Mulan better be one of your top 3 favorite Disney movies. Honestly, my favorite Disney princess is tied between Esmeralda and Mulan. So this duet right here is extra dark, extra spicy, extra unhinged. We've got a really immaculate slow burn, one of my favorite, like, perfectly paced, perfect tension, found family. We have an FMC who is a demon, who is also a shapeshifter. So basically she makes herself look like her ex-husband so that she can enlist in the war and fight, kind of like Mulan. And she makes friends with all of these guys in the camp, has romances, makes friends, and then has to deal with hiding her identity from all of these people and from society. And then we also have a demon book boyfriend in here who has his own hellhounds, and this one has primal play in it. So our book boyfriend, he likes to chase, okay? And that is one of my favorite things. This has an entire page of warnings in it. Make sure you read them if you have any hard stops, but this is going to be one of the extra spicy ones. And the reason I'm putting it at spot number 6 is because it is extra spicy and extra dark. However, it still has really like emotional, developed, like immersive plot. And I feel like it's really hard to find a book that is extra spicy but also still has good plot. And this one honestly has like a high level of both. It's a completed duet. It's for our extra dark, extra spicy girlies. If you're a Mulan girly, this is absolutely the series for you. I have not read any other romantasy books that give me any of the vibes that this did, so this is super interesting and different. And it is only 2 books. Now we're gonna include spot 6.5 here because this is going to be a completed duet this year. So The Breaking Begins is another duet by the same author. This is going to follow a very, very morally obsidian angel book boyfriend who we met in that previous duet that I just showed you. This is a completely different story, a different romance, different plot line. It's taking place in the same world as the Age of War and Prophecy duet. But this one, I will say, I feel like I like the man in this series even more than I liked our demon in the other duet. Now I'm putting this on here as a little bit of a bonus. This is going to be completed in September of this year. So it's not completed yet, but if you put this on your TBR, you start reading it, you go ahead and catch up with the other duet, you will be just in time to complete this duet when it comes out in September, which is literally only 2 months away. So a little bonus here, halfway completed, but will be completed this year. Spot number 5 for my gothic girlies who like a book boyfriend with wings. You guys, Nightshade and Infernium by Keri Lake is another criminally slept on duet. This one is so good. Keri Lake writes gothic, but she also writes emotional damage. She writes very immersive worlds. You kind of like feel like you're there with the main characters. She writes some of the actual best book boyfriends you will ever meet. If you read a Keri Lake book and you don't like the man, listen, you don't ever have to worry about me stealing your man because I love her book boyfriends. They are deep, they are emotional, they actually have like feelings and personalities and you feel connected to them. They are the epitome of tortured souls, and her FMCs are like strong badass women. So if you haven't read Nightshade yet, Keri Lake is the author of some of Book Talk's favorite books like Nocticadia, Anathema. This one sort of deals with angels and demons. We've got a book boyfriend in here, we've got emotional damage, we've got depth. It is perfectly gothic, perfectly good for the Summerween season. So this duet, one of my favorite duets ever. Keri Lake is an auto-buy author for me, and this honestly delivers. So if you've read her other books, if you've read Nocticadia, you've read Anathema, you ate either one of those up, and Nightshade is not on your TBR, I'm genuinely confused. Because this is everything we look for in a Keri Lake book, but it's one that like nobody talks about. All right, since I did the 0.5, I literally messed myself up on my rating. We are at spot number 3 right now. So whatever, go with it, deal with it. Spot number 3 is a duet that literally just completed like a few days ago. In the Veins of the Drowning and In the Wake of the Ruined. Now listen, when I read this book, It was great. It was good. I loved it. I rated it 4 stars. I would totally recommend everybody read it, but this is one where the second book makes the series 5 stars. Yearning, angst, emotion. This is also such a different vibe. Our FMC is a morally gray siren, and then we have an MMC who, I heard somebody say this recently and it just clicked for me, is giving Dorian Havillard. If you're a Dorian girly, this is the duet for you. It is finished, it's completed, it's dark. It's sort of like gothic mermaid vibes, which I feel like is a vibe that's very hard to get. And it's not necessarily like mermaids, it's sirens, but like dark gothic sirens, super like dark storyline, really, really good romance. Really, like I felt a lot of different emotions while I was reading this book. This is a book that just like you finish it and you're like, I couldn't have asked for anything else from a book. Honestly, this was a huge shock. I didn't think that this was going to be as good as it was. A lot of times I don't love the second book as much as the first. I was not a huge fan of Light Wielder. The second book did not do it for me in that duet, so I was like very nervous to pick up another completing duet this year. But listen, In the Wake of the Ruined needs to be on everybody's TBR. It just came out. No, you don't want to risk spoilers, so I would put this on the immediate TBR, and it is literally only 2 books. Okay, some of you are going to be highly confused and maybe even angry at my spot number 2 because something has unseated it, okay? So originally this would have been spot number 1, The Court of Ravens duet. Feather so vicious, shadow so cruel, the spiciest thing I've ever read in my entire life, the darkest thing I've ever read in my entire life. If you mixed like the darkest dark romance you've ever read with the darkest romantasy that you've ever read, and you had like morally obsidian book boyfriends, this is for you. This is for the girlies who like it absolutely unhinged. I get nervous for people picking this up. That's how dark it is, but it is a god tier, like one of the best things I've ever read. It is about men who are raven shifters. They turn into birds. We have an FMC who gets captured, and when I tell you the character growth, the world, the story, the way that you're going to read book 1 and you're going to be absolutely disgusted, and then you're going to read book 2 and you're going to think that like you've developed a new personality. You're going to be confused with how much you love book 2. Do not DNF this one after book 1 and tell me that you didn't like it if you didn't even give book 2 a try. Don't do that. You haven't finished it. You haven't done the journey. You have not experienced any of the character growth, any of the reasoning behind anything, any of the reasoning for all of the darkness that is in book 1. You did not do it correctly. I need you to pick it back up. And if you don't like book 2, then fair. But if you DNF'd after book 1 because you couldn't handle it, are you a dark and unhinged girly? Because I literally have been telling you every time I recommend this how dark it is. You picked it up and you were like, it was too dark. Okay, listen, now everybody has their hard stops. I'm not judging that. However, if this wasn't a hard stop for you, you just didn't feel like book 1 had any redeeming qualities for the characters, that is where you need to course correct, because book 2 is the entire purpose of doing all of that stuff. So absolutely immaculate. This honestly needs to be spot like 1.5 because I like it almost as much as the duet that's in spot 1, but it was very recently unseated. So let's talk about spot number 1. Now, can anybody guess what spot number 1 is? I will give you a hint. It's by the same author that wrote Court of Ravens duet. Guys, the Heartstring Duet by Zander absolutely changed my life. Now, this took something super dark, kind of like Feather So Vicious, and it made it so beautiful in a different way. Like it made it sad and happy and emotional, and just like, I cannot even explain to you what this series did to me. This is literally, in the dark romantasy space, one of the best duets ever. And again, if you read book 1 only and you DNF'd, I would be willing to bet a lot of things that if you picked up book 2 and you read book 2, you would change your mind. Especially if a series is a duet. If you stop after book 1, I'm genuinely confused why you picked it up in the first place. Number 1, it's only the second book, and for something this dark, there requires a lot of redemption. There requires a lot of development to happen. That's never going to happen in book 1. If you can see where it's going to end, if you already like the MMC, if it's enemies to lovers and everybody's already a green flag in book 1, that is literally not what we're looking for, and that's not what's going to happen in an extra dark and spicy duet. So if you've only read book 1, I'm angrily yelling at you to pick up book 2 and finish it, or at least try, before you give it up and say that you didn't like the duet, because you didn't read the duet. You only read the red flag part, okay? You never even got to the emotional damage. The end of this duet, I literally don't cry when I read books. I don't. It is a miracle if I end up shedding actual tears over a book. Kingdom of Ash got me, and the very end of Crescent City 1 got me. That's the kind of damage I'm looking for. I was on a plane because I was so confident that I was gonna be fine in my like dark, cold, unfeeling Aries shell that I read this on a plane and I cried for 20 minutes. The last 20 pages of this book had me wrecked. Now listen, this is not a book that's like completely not HEA, okay? So if anybody's like, I can't read it because it's not an HEA, it's not either one, okay? It's not a HEA, but it's more an HEA than like a non-HEA. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't think that's a spoiler. This is gonna be emotionally devastating, but also the most beautiful thing that you will not regret reading, okay? The Heartstrings Duet, #1, top tier. For completed duets, this is the best of the best. It needs to be on everyone's immediate TBR. I'm concerned if you don't like it. And guys, if you thought the romance aspect of Feathers So Vicious was too dark, like you thought the men were too like unredeemable, this doesn't have any of the non-con stuff in it that is present in Feathers So Vicious. So if that was the reason you didn't like that duet and you're scared of this next one, this doesn't have those dark romance elements in it. It's mostly a darker world, spicy in other ways. It's not like dark romance kind of spice. So that's not a reason that you should not pick this book up. This doesn't have any of that in it. So I will go ahead and like take that weight off of you, give it a chance, give it a try, read past book 1. You have to let yourself feel uncomfortable before the second book like takes you on a completely like into another dimension with how good it is. So this is #1, my favorite duet of all time. All right, so let me know what level of emotionally damaging you like. Technically that was a rating of like my favorites, but it was also a rating kind of in order of how emotionally damaging the books are. So if you're a level of emotionally damaging that is on par with me, please let me know what my next read should be. If you like duologies, if you like duets, did I leave any off? Are there any that aren't on here? Leave me a comment, give me some book recs, let me know what other book lists you want to see. Do you like rankings? It has been a minute since I've ranked my top favorite book boyfriends of all time. I feel like my list has changed. The last time I did it was like a year ago. So if you want my top favorite book boyfriends of all time to see if we have the same taste, let me know. One of them might have been in this list right here of books. They might be present, but I think you might actually be surprised with who ends up on my like top 10 favorite book boyfriends of all time. And then, do we want my top 10 favorite, or do we want my like ranking of book boyfriends, which is basically like ones that I absolutely despise on the bottom, and then ones that I love on the top, because those are a little bit more fun, and people get really mad when I do those because apparently you can't have different taste in fictional men. That makes people very angry when I talk about not liking their all-time favorite book boyfriend. Like, listen, that literally means more for you. I don't like Xaden. You can have him. If I met him IRL, we would be like kind of frenemies. You know what I mean? Like, we would be friends. You could have the romantic relationship with him. You won't have to worry about me stealing your man. I don't know why y'all are so pissed off that we don't like the same fake men. He's not even real. Anyway, go ahead, give me, maybe you took away your like after I said I didn't like Xaden. It is what it is. Let me know what you thought about my ranking. What would be in spot #1? Are there any duets that you really don't like that didn't live up to the hype? And go ahead and subscribe. I'll be back with more lists. Maybe the book boyfriend ranking if that's of interest to you. I did, as you can see, put together the best reading chair of all time. If you want to see me fall all over my room and have to pick this up and lift it around so many times that I'm like so sore, I feel like I lifted 3,000 pounds. Let me know if you want to know about the chair. I can tell you where I got it. I can maybe give you a little library reno video of the process of putting it together. It was the easiest thing I've ever done, but it did end up making like an hour-long video. So let me know if you want to see that. Otherwise, subscribe, come back, turn on the alert so that you know when I've posted a video, and I'll see you next time for whatever the book list is. And let me know if you have any requests for what you want to see.